Welcome back to the Business Simple podcast. It's your host, James. Today, I am joined by Zane Cozens, the owner of ZRE Real Estate, who's got some exciting stuff going on in his world at the moment that I'm sure we will talk about. Zane made the trip down yesterday to catch up with some family and pumped to have you take some time out of your day and come join us.
Thank you for the invite, James.
Absolute pleasure. I've had the pleasure of communicating quite a bit with Zane over the last couple of weeks as we're helping out with some stuff that you've got going on. I've personally been really looking forward to this because I haven't had a chance to really dive into you and your story and that sort of thing yet. So why don't we sort of start there? Take me through what brought you into real estate, what you've learned there, and then sort of what you got going on now.
Yeah, so my background, I'm a ex-army, so I'm a returned serviceman. I served overseas for New Zealand. Left there, travelled around Europe. Came back with no money. I actually trained as a chef for the army, and I opened a fish and chip shop, which in chefing circles within the army is like, it's just something you do not do. It's the lowest of the low. And I had two of them. I had two sister shops and did extremely well. And sold those, and after 9 years, and my parents were in real estate. My mother was extremely successful, and they said, "Oh, look, you'd be very good at real estate." So, okay. And it turns out I was, and everyone I'd ever made burgers and chips for wanted to sell their houses with me, so it was brilliant. So Mrs. Two Tarakihi and half a scoop of crinkle cut chips became my first vendor, and yeah, it all snowballed from there.
Yeah, right.
So I was very fortunate to have the support of a wider community, and my career went from newbie on the block to being number one within a year.
Yeah, right.
And I sustained that for 22 years.
Yeah, right. Number one in your area.
In Turangi, and also I was for number of sales for the Bailey's Group.
Yeah.
I was number one for total sales as a sole agent. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
know, for a small Southern Lake area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, cool, nice. And so, what was the process like? Obviously, moving from. Do you say you were Bailey's agent?
Yeah. And I owned half the partnership.
Yeah.
I ended up starting as a newbie, ended up owning the company.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool. And then bridged across to ZRE Real Estate?
So after 21 years, I thought I want to take some time out.
Yeah.
Because running at full speed for a long period of time, you don't realise that it can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
And I'm high energy anyway, and I just thought I need to breathe. Yeah. So I thought, I'm retiring. Sounded like a really good idea. And it was, and I travelled, and I got to hang out with friends and family. But there's something in me. And listening to one of your podcasts the other day, I think it's in a lot of people who are successful in business. They need to be around people. They need focus. They feed off that energy. And I realised that I genuinely miss people. That was a key driver for me. So I launched ZRE after retiring 3 years earlier. And I thought, just dabble a little bit. It's gone gangbusters, and it's crazy good. Yeah, very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, nice. And what do you think has been the driver behind that? I mean, I know when we were talking, you spoke a lot about community. Is it people want to deal with you? What is it that's helping it be so successful?
Relationships, I think. Yeah. And people. A lot of agents will say to me, "Oh, why do you sell so much? Why are you the number one guy?" For me, it's always been about people. I can't really put my finger on what it is that makes me successful in that industry, other than people first, everything follows from that.
Yeah.
The relationship is very important to me.
Yeah.
I might be middle of the road in other things, but when it comes to people and forming relationships, it seems to be a good strength. So.
Yeah, sure. At what point did you start working with the council throughout your career?
So in about 2013, I think it was 2013 local body elections. Some local residents said, "Oh, we need some change in terms of our councillors that are representing us and to drive our area forward." So I put my hand up and was elected on in 2013 as a councillor. Baptism in fire, that's for sure. Public service is a very different beast to working in the corporate world.
Yeah.
The private sector is very different, and I do think part of that is driven by the belief that public service wants to think that they're very different.
Yeah.
In many ways, there's a lot of similarities. They really are just businesses at the end of the day. Money comes in from the ratepayer, and they supply services in return. So it's like money in, money out. So I was there for full term, and then I was re-elected back on in 2017.
Yeah.
When it comes to anything, leadership's really important, and you'll know this, being in business for yourself. Leadership is everything. You're driving the team. You've got to have effective management, not so much to control your team, but to enhance it, bind them, strengthen them, capitalise on their strengths, which we talked about before, about talent and potential. If you don't have a good management structure, things go awry, and that's what happened for me. So midterm in 2017, I could see that the management style was lacking. And I believe that my community's best interests would be served in a better format with another councillor who could possibly work through under lacklustre leadership.
Yeah.
So I stepped down from council midway through my term, and another councillor or another person was elected in my place. And to cover the expense of that to the community, I donated a statue to our town to represent some people from our history of the township.
Cool. Yeah, nice. Okay. That would have been a big decision, I'd imagine.
Weighed heavily on me, and because I felt I was letting my community down because they'd given me complete faith to install me as a councillor. But you've got to weigh things up. I suppose if you're in a job that you know you can't survive, you can't be the best that you can, then do you stay?
Yeah, you're doing the people a disservice if you...
You are. And so I stepped out, and honestly, it was not an easy decision for me at all. I was very fortunate that I had a lot of the councillors backing when I left, that they could see why I was frustrated. I don't believe public service needs to work the way that they do, and this year is going to be quite telling, because there's a lot of people around the country putting their names in the hat for a range of roles, whether it be councillors, community board members, and mayoral candidacies, because they feel it's time for some genuine change. Yeah,
and I think we've really, without jumping into my own political beliefs or anything, but we had Phil Major on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I haven't met him.
Yeah. I think as a young business owner coming through, that is the thing that I like to see most from a mayor, is someone who's wants to get their hands dirty. And it's not necessarily that private or public sector are different. It's just more like having inspiration from the private sector and having someone who's run a business and who gets that dollars in, dollars out thing tends to, he told this story about how he saved the Christchurch, I think it was like $200,000 per 100 metres, and because he had this, approach towards it. That is, the people need to start viewing that like it's their money that he saved them.
100%.
And I know you have to pay the money either way, but that money now goes somewhere else. And so that thing, that pothole that's been bugging you down the road or whatever it is, that budget that's freed up might lead to that problem being solved. Or
you have to quantify it. So, for example, I won't go into the issue we had in Taupo just recently, but it was a project that came out that was articulated badly to the public. The outcome, whether they're for the outcome or not, I won't tell you what it was, but it cost $100,000.
Yeah.
And people go, some of the councillors were saying, no, it's only $100,000. But $100,000 was one complete street's rates for the year. 23 families, rates gone. When you quantify it like that, it puts things in perspective as to the magnitude of the money that you're spending and the sense of responsibility you have to your community. Every cent counts. I'm not saying that councillors today are less fiscally responsible, but there seems to be a disconnect. They seem to think there's no outcome. What's the outcome if you overspend? Well, you're seeing rate rises around the country at astronomical levels.
Yeah.
Unsustainable.
Yeah.
For us in the Taupo district, we're about to go through, there's going to be rate rises over the next 9 years, which will be 3 times the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
So we're going to be making our people poorer. You talk about young families getting houses, the extra $2,500 a year they'll be paying in rates will make it unaffordable for them.
Yeah.
The bank will go, we will lend you the money, but your rate's going to be this much. Sorry, you can't own a house.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think is the thing that is missing often. When I and this is just me once again not jumping into my beliefs, but when I look at the way people make decisions and the way I'm like, that this money has to come from somewhere. When you look at like budgets that release and stuff like that, and it's like, our plan is just to add this tax or to do this or whatever. And it's like, I don't think people get what. I get this whole mentality where you just take from those that have and you try to, or whatever it is. But the amount that a lot of people contribute, like a business like mine pays in tax, is, if I didn't have to pay that money, I can like the cars that would be down in that car park and the houses and
Have an RS5.
yeah, whatever. I'm about to pick. It's one for every day of the week. Like I just don't think people quantify that it is tens and tens of thousands of dollars a week that you pay to play in, and adding more isn't always the answer. You can just watch the expenditure and it has the same impact. A dollar collected is the same as a dollar saved. And seeing that, and that was probably the biggest thing that I had when Phil left, where I was like, this is a guy that I really believe in sitting in this spot.
And I would confirm that. I don't know him,
Yeah.
but you can see by how he talks and how he's walking it as well. Definitely. We need to be mindful of how money's been spent, and you're a business owner, so you understand it.
For sure. So post stepping down from council, I'd imagine that was probably around the same sort of time you'd retired?
No, 2017, I stepped down from council and I retired in 2021.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And then you've come back in, you've started real estate. What else have you got going on at the moment?
That's pretty much my focus, to be fair. Before I was into doing property development as well, but no, that's pretty much all my focus has been that and growing that business for the last 12 months. As I said, it was originally meant to be this like I'll just take over a sale here and a sale there. And it's gone beyond expectations. Very, very fortunate. Very fortunate. So,
nice. Awesome.
Good stuff.
Great. Yeah, cool. And so obviously you've got some big stuff going on now.
So I put my hand up for the mayoralty. I about a year ago, just after I started the company, a couple of the councillors that are sitting councillors in the Taupō district now needled me and said, Zane, you need to think about the mayoralty, because I have run before in 2019. My community asked if they. In 2019, my community put a nomination form under my nose and said, we want you to run for the mayoralty. We need a change in leadership. I was like, I wasn't prepared for that, but I love my community, so I said yes. And we've been striving to get some local initiatives underway, some community projects, get funding, get investment. And they sort of saw me as the guy who was leading that charge. So I said, for district-wide, let's do that. And I ran a very successful campaign, pretty much on my own, with the support of some very cool people, but and I was unsuccessful, and the incumbent got back again. I was second highest polling and some fantastic numbers, very, very fortunate. And then that was it, put that out of my mind. That was not going to happen. And then last year, these councillors said, come on, Zane, come on. And I thought about it long and hard. I was like, I'm concentrating on my business. This is where I'm going in this lane. And then I looked at the big picture and saw what was happening in our district. Again, all that potential being wasted. With a proper plan, good stewardship, we can achieve some amazing things. And I'm not saying for a second that the Taupō district isn't doing well, because it has done well in light of what other regions have suffered. But we can do so much more. So, I said, hell yes, game on. So
nice,
here we are.
Nice. And so that's all about to kick off. How have you found that process so far?
Exciting. I love this stuff. I like to sit in here, like doing this. It's my jam. I really love this, but above all the hoo-ha and the media, whatever happens from here, I'm really focused on creating a fantastic vision and future for the district. I've worked on a plan. I've got a 100-day plan, which is quite hard-hitting in places, which I'll release over the next couple of weeks. So people can see where I'd like to see us take in collaboration with others. And it's a living document, what I'm working on. It's constantly changing. Every day I add something to it, because you're walking around talking to people in the community, and they'll say to you certain things. You go, damn, that's a good idea. So like I had one on the weekend. I was at my auntie's 100th birthday, and my cousin said, there's too much compliance within the building industry in the Taupō district. How about we do this, this, and this? And I thought, it's a blooming good idea. Why don't we do an industry think tank, a catch up maybe once a month, or I don't know, on a regular basis with hospitality, building, that sort of thing, and get ideas, understand what their challenges are, what's working well, how to enhance that. So that was just another thing I've just added to the plan. So.
And so what is it that when you think about those real opportunities for change and progress for your district, what are the things that come to mind?
So one thing is that rates are no longer going to be the cash cow to support all growth. Everything that council needs to do is insufficient. And that's quite obvious when we talk about rate rises. 3 times the rate of inflation, it's unaffordable. So how else do we find income streams? And I don't want to be going back to our community and saying, hey, look, we're going to charge you for extra for building consents and that sort of thing.
Yeah, either donations or forced donations. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I am really looking towards public partnerships. This is, I think, it's quite crucial.
Yeah.
So if we identify a piece of infrastructure that needs to be created, can we find a corporate who would be willing to co-fund it?
Yeah.
For naming rights, for example, or even someone from a large New Zealand corporation rang me the other week and said, we've got some product we'd like to donate to the council or any future council to help them with this project, which they're doing at the moment. We don't want anything for it. It's just sitting in our yard. We'd love to be able to help a community a community project.
Yeah, right.
Those conversations need to start happening. So I'd like to, as much as I don't believe in creating jobs, I do creating jobs, but not adding more staff into the council.
For the sake of it.
Yeah. I'd like to create a small team who are tasked with a single job, and that is to seek funding, whether it be from government organisations, corporates, create partnerships, air our future dreams and aspirations as a community, and then go and seek people to partner with and offset the costs. We could do other really cool things like, I think it's Gore or somewhere in Southland, they've got tap and go machines. So all around our district where we've got fantastic vistas or a key tourist place that tourists go to, let's put a tap and go machine and say things like, you love our clean and green image, help us pay for it. Click tap here for $2, tap here and give us $2 towards it. Some of those machines I understand are earning between $10,000 and $13,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
So it may seem like a small amount of coin, but we can give that money to really cool groups who look after, pick up litter in their spare times, or Green in Topol, which looks after our vegetation and replanting of native trees. We could do some really cool stuff with that. There's other ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, and that is creating jobs.
That
is funding jobs, that is doing that, but it's in a way where you're not taking from the community to do so.
Because the more money you take from the community, the less money they're going to have to spend, whether it be in retail or hospitality or just on their own themselves. We should be about growing. I mean, the district is growing, no doubt about that, but we could be doing so much more.
Yeah, sure.
So I just don't want to see young people struggling in the future when it comes to home ownership. I think it's key.
Yeah, and how? I mean, this is probably where an interesting kind of both sides of the coin thing for you, because you're out there talking to people about property, you're sitting in their lounges, you know the challenges these 100%. People are having and that sort of thing all the time. What are you seeing when you're doing that?
Well, everyone is very, very different. You'll get different stories all the time, and I suppose it's one of the reasons why I love that job is you hear people's stories. I think the first vendor I went to meet coming back into the industry, I came out buzzing from hearing their story. It was a nice story, how they wanted to downsize and move to Christchurch, funny enough.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on at the moment. Yeah, we're very lucky.
No, you can't have them all. We want some to stay in the North Island. And I was hearing their story, was really quite buzzy. I think there's apprehension for a lot of people. You know, when you talk about the cost of living is quite high for many people. I think those who have always had money still have money, and they're a little bit disconnected from it. I think everyday people. There's a lot of sad stories out there, like the hand to mouth. That may sound harsh, but it's the truth. There are people there who are struggling. I think you went through that whole COVID thing where borrow money cheaply. And it's like, you can do this. Borrow $1 million. It'll never be cheaper. And all the real estate agents around the country are going, go and buy houses. But we're all thinking the same thing. If you've been in the market for 10 years, we were here with the credit crunch of 2008. It's like we've seen this before when people overextend themselves, and now we're paying for that. Unfortunately, admittedly, interest rates have come down, so it's more affordable. But still, some people are carrying big mortgages.
Yeah, I mean, we had my fiance bought a house up in Auckland, and her plan was actually to move into it originally. We wound up having Archie, so she came down to Christchurch, and so we just settled and held on to it. But it would have cost us, even with tenants in there, probably $400 a week, I'd say, after. And it's not like it was originally bought to be an investment, and there's a million different, like the people that are listening to this that know property investment will be like, that's dumb. But we wound up there anyway. We were there, and so it was kind of one of those, do you just hang on and sort of white knuckle it and try to come out of it, or do you take a loss, or what do you do? And we elected to, we were like, we want to hold property and we want to kind of try to accumulate that. So we did that. You look at that and you think about the average person trying to wear that sort of cost each week just to get themselves forwards.
Yeah.
That is it's hard. It's really hard.
And we see that it's also when, because where we are, 50% of the houses in the district are owned by absentee owners, like holiday homes.
Yeah.
And there's certain areas which lend themselves to people who, when there's a fast market, they'll buy a discretionary holiday home.
Yeah.
And you know that when the market turns or things get financially tight, that location is going to be, you'll see a lot of houses come to the market.
Yeah.
And people will get burned.
Yeah.
And that has happened.
Yeah.
Seems to have rectified a little bit, to
Yeah.
be fair, but definitely, generally speaking, I think across the country, there's people who find it very, very hard.
Yeah.
So
I'm
mindful of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then how do you take that into account? Let's say like this 100-day plan or something. Like what sort of things do you think that the district can do that help to alleviate that pressure from people?
You mean from a council perspective?
Yeah. Or from the you running for mayor and that sort of thing. Like what do you think the impact you can have is?
Well, it's the one thing that keep coming back to rates. I know it's it's unfortunate, but it's the mainstay of what floats councils. It's the biggest expense of the year outside of your mortgage payments. It's going to be your rates. Mm-hmm. They need to be they're not controlled. They need to be kept at a level that is affordable to encourage growth and also to supply the services that are required for a healthy community. Yeah. Outside of that, there's a whole bunch of other stuff I'd like to see us happening. Well, in our district specifically, there's a bunch of things that we need to be looking at that are coming down the line from central government as well. We've got to be mindful of in regards to water. Yeah. That's going to cost us a large amount of money, $800,000 a year just for compliance. Yeah. That all has to be funded from somewhere. Yeah. So it's controlling those expenses, which are going to be key. But again, it comes back to finding extra funding to allow that to happen without being on the burden of our ratepayer. Yeah. It's really crucial. Yeah. Our council, for example, is taking at the moment $107 million a year in rates. Yeah. It's due to go to $179 million in 9 years' time. Yeah. How can we offset that figure to stop that long-term plan from forecasting those, add into the burden, and also the big ticket items that are coming down the line? How do we offset that? Like there's talk of a second bridge across the Waikato River. Mm-hmm. It's coming in at a cost of around $100 million. Yeah. Is the timing right? Yeah. Is the second bridge, is it definitely needed? Okay. How do we fund that? Do we partner up with a corporate? What do we do? Yeah. Yeah, so right. they are, as much as you'd like to say all the little stuff around the edges we can do, but it's the big ticket items that really matter here. And that is rates and how they're going to be impacted by these key items, but also just the general expenses that go forward, the rate of inflation of our rates has to be looked at. Yeah, right. Otherwise, we won't be able to attract young families, which is key to our growth. Yeah.
And that is something that Christchurch is doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, honestly, you're crazy. I come out here like 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah. And every time I come down here, there's something new to see. Yeah. I mean, it was slow burn to begin with, I got to say. I was like, come on, Christchurch. Get it together. About 10 years, Jerry Brownlee, what are you doing? Yeah. And then it's like, the vibe here is very, very cool. Yeah. Not according to the Uber driver last night. Roderick, wherever you are.
do you know what I think is interesting? And you pointed this out, and it's probably not so much in regards to infrastructure, where we're lucky that we haven't needed a huge amount outside of our roads, which are a little bit of a mess. But the majority of what I think the drivers have been in Christchurch have actually been private people, especially when you look at like the central city. They're building Riverside Market, they're building these new hospitality venues along the river, they're doing this stuff, they're creating the hotels, they're creating all of these things. We work with Willowbank, and they've recently just acquired the Antarctic Centre, and you look at these people that are making these moves here.
Yeah, but success breeds success, really. Yeah. And that's all feeding off each other. I mean, I came down in May for a concert here at the Isaac Theatre. Yeah. And I have no doubt that the artist wouldn't have come here if it wasn't a vibrant place for him to come. Yeah. So and all she did was rave about it at the concert, like what a great place it was, and how she's seen it was flowering like this fantastic. She was the best. Well, she probably says it's the debut place she goes to. Yeah. And she said it was one of the best places she'd been to on a tour as an international artist. So I think you've done a cracker job. Yeah. You really have. I don't know where you get all your hospitality people from, though.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And like
coffee.
And some amazing restaurants. Yeah. And to a point where it's like hard to get around all of them. We had two two of the people have come on this show, Nick Inkster from Inkster Company and Tristan from Smoky Teas, just around the corner. And like, these are just like, Nick had gone to the Mites and come back and just started a bar because his dad had always dreamed of having a bar with him or something to that sort of, along those sorts of lines. And now he'd have 10 venues in Christchurch.
And so all the themed ones are really quite cool around the place.
He does that really well. They all wear waistcoats and cheese cutters.
Oh, yeah. What's that? There's like a Singaporean one down by the fish, on the farmers market area. What do you call it? Riverside. There's a, the name escapes me. I know what you're talking about. There's another one further out towards the Majestic. Or Mayfair, whatever it's called. There's some very,
great restaurants.
Yeah.
Great restaurants.
And they're all in such a centralised area too. Like you go, there's a clump, there's another clump over here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, nice. And so, obviously, this time, or I'm not sure what you did last time, but you're running as an independent.
I am, yes.
Yeah. So talk me through that decision.
So I think when it comes to local government, and we talked about this before, local government and central government, two very different beasts in my view. So I was very fortunate to be asked to stand with a political party, the 2020 election. I learned a lot of skills, worked with a whole bunch of very clever people. I'm very proud of that, and I'm thankful for the experience. But for local government, I'm definitely an independent. I believe it's a different social conscience that you have when it comes to local governance, and I've decided that the community is best served for me to run as an independent.
Yeah. And is that just like a freedom thing?
I think so too. I do think that. I mean, and Britain is very different. They're all politically and party aligned.
Yeah.
Or you can be an independent over there as well, I suspect. But I think for most part of New Zealand, most people are independent. And I think it's about surrounding yourself with people who have a good skill set, whether it be that they come from, they believe in like looking after, I don't know, maybe they've got a more social mindset, although they've got more of a commercial brain to them. It's about encouraging those people to work together to create the better outcomes. I do think, hands on heart, I got asked this question years ago by somebody within central government, where my political leanings were. Definitely at local government, I'm bang in the middle.
Yeah, nice. And so, that's an interesting thing to talk about is obviously people are going to be, if someone's listening to this and they're involved in the election that's coming up, they're going to want to know about your political views and that sort of thing. So you described them as being quite central before, centralist?
Yeah, definitely. I think my whole ethos, even in my past in my community, shows that I'm the guy for everyone. Well, I'm the battler for everyone. I believe everyone has the same value and every voice matters. And I don't like seeing people's voices diminished in any capacity. I think everyone has a skill set to bring to the table. And again, I believe in bringing upskilling, bringing people's talents to the forefront and like realising potential. Yeah, and with a role, I mean, you mentioned leadership before, and with a role like the mayor, I know that leadership is, it's pretty much crucial. It's crucial.
Yeah. So talk me through how you plan on seeing that work, or where you think your role is as a leader in council like that.
Again, it comes back to my plan that I have. I believe in whoever is chosen as the deputy mayor to have the same. I think you've got to be able to work quite strongly with your deputy mayor to instill the same messaging and bringing people together. I wouldn't want someone who would actively work against us because it's going to get you nowhere. And you've got that battle going on right now with local government New Zealand, central government, local government New Zealand's in the middle of central government and all the local bodies, and it's just not working. I don't want that. It's the same with the mayor and the deputy mayor. Ensuring that the councils feel valued. So I would actually like to bring all my councillors, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, we would do a group session, and I would like to think it was a thorough one, not the piecemeal doing things for face value. Oh, we do this every time we're a new trainee and where we get someone in and they talk to us about our vision and we get a whiteboard out. I want to hold people to account. I want to understand where they see themselves making the best difference in council. What do they want to achieve over the next 3 years? Give them a set of tasks, or they give me a set of goals. We create a task and then they're held to account on whether it be a 2 monthly basis, have meetings with them to understand where they are, what they're driving through. I'd like to, in terms of ensuring a productive council, I'd like to have proper consultation with our people, which seems to be lacking because it's created some poor decision making and it's got council at odds with its community. I'd like my councillors to be visible. So I would like to create, and we're in a digital world, I want them to create reels for social media. I'd like to be piloting a councillor on your street, encouraging the councillors to be walking the streets, talking to people, understanding, ensuring that we get transparency back and as a front of mind concern for our district, but also the accountability is extremely important as well. Ensuring that our councillors are accountable for every decision that they make.
Yeah.
Not saying hold their feet to the fire, but make them realise that the charter that we have ensures that we look after our community in the best possible fashion, and that means both fiscally and socially, and consultation is important. No more, we've got to fling the doors open and ensure that we don't have closed door meetings anymore as well.
Yeah.
So I think creating a council that is, transparent, accountable, socially responsible, fiscally responsible, but also visible.
Yeah.
We need to be visible. I mean, if you walked around today and asked people on the street here in Christchurch and asked them to name 3 councillors, would they be able to do that?
Yeah, I could probably do 1, maybe 2.
In Taupo, you'd be hard pushed.
Yeah.
So many people don't even know who the mayor is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about it. They go, oh, it's just council. They put it back in the mind. It's not a high priority for them until they get their rates bill.
Yeah.
No.
But do you think they even attach the rates bill to council anyway? Do you think people make that connection? I've never thought about it like that.
I think, a certain sector do. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think that visibility is key. Is key. That we are working for you and you have a problem and you come to us. Yeah. I know it's almost impossible for the mayor to be over every single issue that Joe Blogs in the street might have, but I'd like to set up systems that enable that, not that they can reach me as mayor or deputy mayor, but we set up an avenue of responsibility. So if people aren't getting heard, or they're not getting the response they need from staff, or that there's a mechanism in place to ensure that they do get some sort of outcome, some sort of response. Would it be the response that they want, or the response they like, but that they've been heard and that they're valued.
Yeah, nice. And so what if you were successful, what does your role look like in terms of building that team? Is it, because I'd imagine a huge chunk of it's elected, is that right?
Do you mean as in who elected around you?
Yeah. Or like, because you start setting up the council and overarchingly, are you hiring people for that? Are you giving them and then...
I would no. So we employ a CEO. The CEO is our one employee. Their responsibility is to go out and hire everyone for us. Yeah. So if you talk about the team that I wanted to create that goes out looking for partnerships, we'd have to direct the CEO to create that division for us. Yeah. But I would like, and there's just toying with this idea at the moment. In public service, you'll have council staff and you'll have councillors, and they are yin to yang. They are counterweight to each other. Yeah. The staff will advise the councillors on the legislative requirements and also standing orders, etc., and also they'll drive the structure of change, I suppose. But at the end of the day, council are the ones that design the future or set the tone for council, and the mayor is the person at the top of that. Yeah, creates a harmonious team around him to direct the staff, to create the vision, I suppose. I would like to create more of a bridge. You've got the CEO, but I'd like to create more of a bridge and maybe a project manager whose role is independent of council and of councillors, who is there to articulate the goals of each other to create a better outcome. And yes, I don't want to be creating jobs for the sake of creating jobs. I'd want outcomes. It had to be like KPIs attached to that. Yeah. And if after a certain time it didn't work, then we would revisit it. Yeah. Because in business, you'll make a decision. It could be a bad decision. Fine, make another decision then. Yeah. That didn't work. Let's try something new. Yeah. Don't want to be wasting ratepayers' money. There's no doubt about that. I'm conscious that's front of mind all the time. But I think there's so much more we could do if we had an intermediary to bridge the gap who understands public policy, but also understands the vision of council and brings it together. Yeah. That's normally the CEO's role. But I think the CEO has enough to get on managing in our district 420 staff. Yeah. It's a huge team. Oh, 100%. And to be all over compliance, all over legislation, I would want to do that job.
Yeah.
Very hard. I take my hat off to any CEO around the country because they have to put up with a lot.
Yeah.
And they're used quite often as a punching bag.
Yeah.
Well, they are. It's the CEO's fault.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a great relationship with the CEO. And we have a good CEO in Taupo at the moment.
Yeah.
And I look forward to working with her in the future.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool. Okay. Is there anything else when you think about this sort of your run towards mayor that you think people should consider when they're deciding who to vote, ideally for you, but anything that you think that you kind of bring for them?
I think most people in the district know that I'm gay.
Yeah.
I think some people may still have an issue with that, and that's fine. I mean, people might have an issue with people with ginger hair. Yeah. Like yourself.
Yeah.
You're not really ginger.
Yeah.
People will like you will not like you for various reasons. You just got to move forward with that. I don't take that personally. It's their belief, and that's fine. Yeah. So there is that. But I suppose, and being gay, I don't think is certainly doesn't define me. And I would hate to think if I was ever fortunate enough to be elected, that someone would go, oh, Taupo's got his first gay mayor. Really?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you say you're the first, I don't know, ex-soldier mayor that we've ever had, Yeah. It's just a part of me. Yeah. And I always go back to Ryan Bridges, the journalist who was outed on TV several years ago, and they asked him why he hadn't mentioned that he was gay, and he said, well, it's boring. Yeah. And it is boring. And we moved on. Yeah. It's like,
but I think we are also in the same breath moving into more of an environment where people vote based off what they feel like people will do for them and things like that. Yeah. And I think social media has played a really cool part in that. You get to know the person more, so there's less like controversy attached to them because you're like, no, that's Zane. I follow him on Instagram and he does this or whatever it might be.
And I'd like to think that because I've achieved things in my life and I still want to achieve things. There's many goals I still have. Fires me up. I'm sure it does for you as a business person. And I've got some really cool ideas that I'd like to implement for the district, and I'd like to think people concentrate on that. And me as a man, not as someone who's gay.
Yeah, sure. And also you have, like you mentioned, very centralist views that probably aren't like typically attached with that. So and like ex-army and all that.
And I'm very fortunate. I come from an era where it was illegal. And you were found to be gay. In the army, you would have been court-martialed. You would have been dishonorably discharged. You wouldn't have kept your superannuation. You would have been humiliated in front of your peers. At a time when you couldn't get married, couldn't get blood, can't adopt children, couldn't bring your partner in from overseas, all that sort of stuff. So I've had that experience. Fast forward to now. This morning I had breakfast with two old army mates. They're my brothers. They're my sisters. I'm very, very fortunate. And we laugh about those times, how hard it was, but they didn't know back then. Maybe some of them that I don't know, but I'm very fortunate that we've all grown as adults and there's nothing but love for each other. You don't give a rat's backside. Who and what. Whether you're gay, whether you're straight. Doesn't matter.
The world overarchingly seems
we've
to
moved. I don't want to obsess about it. It's just like, and I suppose people would say to me, well, why aren't you being more pro-gay? I'm not the identity politics politician. I don't care whether you're gay, straight, you're lesbian, you're woman, male, Māori. I only care about you all having the same value and where we're going together and how we're going to get there. That's what I care about.
Nice. That's a good message.
It just seems it's common sense at the end of the day.
Look, I agree completely, and I know as a I suppose probably more of a new age business owner, but I know that I don't hire people based on it. I couldn't tell you.
Why would you?
It's just about how good they are.
100%.
And I suppose that is sort of what the whole district is doing in the election, is they're choosing who they hire as mayor, and I'm sure they just care about contribution. I'm sure.
Did right. I mean, just ticking a box, really. When I stood for the political party in 2020, I said, choose me for my skill set. If you choose me because I'm gay, because I tick a box, I'd be offended and I'd rather not be chosen. It's like that's not who I. That's not my total sum. Oh, it sounds like it's you have a lot to the total sum that I think we've touched on, which has been it's been really cool. I think it's a very refreshing view on things. Someone's in the booth, they're picking who to vote for. Is there any sort of final kind of message you'd like to have for them, or like a one sentence sort of banger for them I
to
haven't
think
thought
about?
of that one, actually. Dad, you're on the spot there. You might have to edit this. No, I think I I have the plan and I have a vision. I have a goal that I'd like to share with the district, and I would like to think that you would vote for me because my track record proves that I get things done. And I do it in a way which is community-based, but I don't talk. I'm the guy who gets things done. If you want someone who's going to talk lovely words to you and kiss babies, I'm the guy who wants to get in there and make things happen for our district. So vote Zane.
Nice, that's good. And hey, just quickly while we're on the subject, how are you balancing this with real estate at the moment?
Oh yeah, very good. I'm very fortunate to have a good team around me.
Yeah.
They certainly are picking up the slack. So as we kick off the next couple of weeks, I'm straight in here, and my team will be picking up all the slack behind me with real estate, looking after my vendors. I'll still keep an eye on things and be in touch with my vendors because they're very important to me.
Yeah.
But the election is my focus. So
yeah, nice.
100%.
Yeah,
and there's
cool.
a plan for the future as well in regards to that. So we don't do anything by the seat of our pants. We all have a plan in the background. So
Nice.
we'll enact that
Yeah,
depending on the outcome.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, that was really enjoyable. That was awesome. Thanks again heaps for your time.
Thank
I
you.
know we're going to play around and get some photos and do some videos and stuff like that after this. But yeah, is there any closing notes? Anything you want to say?
No, I think everything. I really appreciate your time, and Christchurch is a wonderful place.
Yeah, it's wicked down here, eh?
Maybe I'll open a branch in Taupo one day soon.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a very agreeable council. We might do in 2020 next year. Very agreeable council. Love to have you up there.
Yeah. Sounds good. Cool. Well, if you've listened this far, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, where you can obviously watch the episodes, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you, Zane.
Thank you.